This is About That Business, hosted by Rom Wills, author, speaker, and entrepreneur. Sit back and enjoy.
Greetings, fam. Today I'm going to talk about automation and the small business owner. You know what? There's been a lot of talk about automation, a lot of talk about how it's going to, take jobs and everything, right? And, I've talked about it on this channel, and it's having a definite impact. And the scary thing is, it hasn't even kicked in yet. But every story has two sides. And you know what? I had an interesting thought the other day. I was like, automation could actually help me expand my business. I was like, wow. Because we're not just talking about automation, but like artificial intelligence, AI. Because I was thinking about many of the things I do online. I mean, I got to do these podcasts, but, I got to edit them and upload them and check different things. And it hit me. It was like I could really use an assistant. I can really use an assistant because, like I said in another video, one of the biggest things millionaires have, or rich people, well-off people have, is time. Because I was thinking about it. If I could just sit here and just maybe like this video, like this podcast, just record it and then let it move, just let an AI, like some artificial intelligence, probably had to pay maybe $1,000 for it. And they already got the technology when you talk about things like Alexa and whatnot. And like in that Spider-Man movie, that recent one, I mean, this dude had a suit that was sentient, that was talking to him. Y'all know that's coming. Y'all know that's coming because it's already here. Now, what if I had a program on my computer? It's like, all I have to do is click the buttons like edit, upload, program it where it knows what to do. That would save me a lot of time. Then I could work on some other things. Because even with books and everything, because there's so many things I have. I mean, I could use an assistant. I could use somebody to start mailing stuff when I start doing e-commerce again. I could use editors. Now what if I got all of this in some AI? And I was like, wow. Or even with the e-commerce, got to physically mail books. What if I had like a little robot who could actually do that and pack the stuff? Think about it, y'all. Think about it. All I have to do is just take it to the post office, or might not even have to do that, depending on the volume. Have UPS come here. I was like, wow. And I think we might see a lot of that. I really do think we might see a lot of that because, one of the biggest things I'm looking at it now from an owner's perspective. One of the things as an owner, if as you expand your business, you got to pay people. And trust me, I've worked in supervisory positions before. Now, y'all know I had 1,001 jobs. I had to be supervisors in some of them. One of the hardest things, I used to dislike being in a supervisory position because not only do you have to make sure the work is done, but you got to be like a psychologist and counselor to whoever's working under you. And anybody who's managed other people, you got to deal with their personal shit too. You got to deal with people who might or might not show up to work, who, they can be thrown off if something happens in their personal life, they call in sick. And, that's even if they do good work. You get a lot of people, they don't do shit. Half the time you might have to stay on them, and then you might have to go behind them in some cases. And I'm thinking to myself, wow. And then you got to pay them all of that. And then if you have a certain amount of employees, you got to not only pay them, you got to pay for health insurance. And I'm like, wow. Now, as I expand my business, I'm thinking, okay, instead of paying like these 10 people some salaries, which is cutting into my bottom line, what if I had AI? What if I had a robot? That pay that little bit for the robot, maybe have to pay to keep it maintenance. But I'm like, wow, you know how much money I would save? And I think a lot of small business owners are, they're going to end up start going towards it. Now, even though I'm saying that from a personal perspective, just the way I am, I might, my first inclination is to use human labor, right? My first one. That's because, if I'm in a position to give a job, but, what happens after a while, I keep having bad employees. Because, everybody, I can read people very well. But then it's like, after a while, you just like, one, somebody could slip through anyway. Two, you might just have to take a chance because of what you need. And I'm just like, wow, maybe it'd be easier just to pay for this robot. Start looking for some robot that can do this job, or look for some sophisticated AI that can, like, take care of all my online stuff. And trust me, it'll be there. Trust me, somebody's going to come up with something. It's probably out there already. I just don't know. If anybody's listening, they know of some AI that can do the things I mentioned, hey, let me know. But, that's, because even, we talk about being entrepreneurial and stuff. The thing about small business owners, most jobs, they're the ones who actually create the new jobs. Corporations, big corporations, they get to a point where they don't create anymore. And then they also get to a point where they're trying to cut employees. This is every time you get a new business that is at a point where it can hire new people, that's creating jobs, and they're the ones. But with the business owner, small business owners say, hey, I can do the same thing with AI. I can do this with some robots. And trust me, there's a lot of like businesses out there. They're just like, I don't really need it. And I'm saying just the ones that hire, that's, doing something. They got to get more people or more hands. Because even a lot of small businesses, people don't need that much help. There's a lot of sole proprietors out there. Even if they have an LLC, there's a lot of sole proprietors out there, or a lot of people who, as they say, own a job. Right? And speaking of that, I'm going to do some, my next video, I'm going to talk about a person's house. And it's not like the house they live in, but their financial house. Right? So anyway, I might need to figure out how to do that. Yeah, some stuff I gotta learn. Anyway, right? So check it out, right? Check it out. I'm just like, wow, that's changing the whole thing. Because I'm gonna tell you what, there's a lot of people against the AI and automation, and they're like, oh, they're taking jobs, but your bottom line as a business owner is to make a profit. Even if you're trying to like contribute some profits to like some nonprofit organization or some worthwhile charity, you still got to make the profit to begin with. And one of the ways to do it is to have as few people to pay as possible. I mean, that's part of the reason why automations come in anyway. People are like, hey, this is easier. Y'all don't have to pay health insurance. I don't have to pay this salary. I don't have to worry about somebody getting high on the job. And, I'm saying, it sounds messed up. I know it'll sound messed up to some people to think that way, but, I might still, even though somebody like me might still try to give somebody an actual job, who's to say the next person is going to be as magnanimous? They might be like, you know what, let me get that. They got that new robot there to do this job. Shoot, what I need to hire people? Say I'm a carpet cleaner or something. I mean, they already got little robots that can vacuum your damn floor. Where somebody say, hey, you know what, let me get instead of having a crew of people to move stuff around, let me get me and somebody else and get a couple robots to go over this floor or something. Man. Yeah, this automation, man, it's going to change. And it's just, it might help somebody actually build their business and build money, So, it's going to come, because I think more people are going to see the usefulness of it, especially if they're in business. Wow. So it's something to think about once again, okay? Something to think about, all right? Anyway, as always, no matter what's going on, I want y'all to go out there and make that money. Peace.